Alright, welcome to day 7 of the Vera Series. So for today, we did get a level increase and we need 6 million experience to reach level cap for the last time, at least until they decide to increase it to level 90. So starting out, you want to go to your artificial island, and then you want to go back to build, and then you want to hit claim because you can only hold these resources for 24 hours. Don't forget to clear your enemies because we are approaching the weekend, and of course check the exchange store so that way you can get your weekly item. Then you want to do Mia's kitchen, and you want to knock out your 4 bounties for the day, and I'm going to go with Vera because there's a lot of stuff to do in Vera. Which brings us to vitality, starting with joint operations. So for today, we got access to boots, but since we can reach level 80 today, you also could do Sadness Valley if you have a fire or ice team. But it also might be pretty good to do even if you don't have one, because you can still get some pretty good pieces for other teams. On top of that, we should have increased drop rate, so you should be able to gear yourself out much easier. Approaching level 80 means weapon upgrades and matrices upgrades, so you definitely want to check your interstellar exploration and see if you have any good stargates. So remember to check Vera as well as the Sparrow. Then you want to check and see if you have any good stargates, and how you can tell is if this weapon battery category has a number 3, it's a level 3 stargate, and if it has a 2, it's a level 2 stargate. But if you don't have any good stargates, you can always do dimensional trials, and if you need money, you could always do space-time domains. But again, hopefully you have max omnium beacons and you're able to use this to get lots of experience. If you are pressed for time, you could always just get some omnium beacons real quick so that way you don't overcap. Speaking of experience, I did want to kind of show you a quick trick. If you're going to be laying down massive omnium beacons today, you may not know that you can actually equip these using your food bar. So if I do it like this, and then I just find an open area, press F2, it selects it for me, and then I can lay it down. I'm not going to do it here, but as you see, that makes it much easier instead of having to constantly go to your bag and select each omnium beacon. So hopefully this helps. But then we have our optionals, and that's giving gifts to your 1.0 characters. And the best way to do that is to go to the black market, see this island and do the claw machine, and do your 2 trainings for the day. But what is not optional is doing your 6 fun zones for the day. And then if you have time, try to do your 6 Greyspace fissures. And if you have time today, you want to try to enter the Twilight Zone rift so that way you can do the dark zone. But you do need to reach level 80. I already tried to do it at level 79. But if you need help on how to do any of these, I got a guide on my channel. Then we got our events, so you want to go ahead and get the supply run. I already talked about the Gacha event. If you want to well out on it, that is up to you. Which brings us to the Starwave Night. So again, most likely you probably want to be trying to level up in Vera, so that way you're getting that energy at the same time. Best way to do that is just to kill monsters and force decipher password chests. Then we got the weekly tab. So you want to make sure you do enough things down here so that way you can get everything up top. Which brings us to our challenges. So if you're trying to do something like the Bygone Phantasm or Frontier Clash, you might want to save your Mia's kitchen so that way you can power yourself up. But starting with the Bygone Phantasm. So again, you want to check and see if you have a good weapon bonus. If so, you might want to try to climb a few levels. And if you've been slacking a bit on the Bygone, you can always do sneak to next level. And if your CS is high enough, you might be able to jump up 11 levels as long as you can beat that floor. But after that, I recommend that you do the sequential Phantasm. But today we are able to reach level 80, so you might want to try to focus on that first and then try to do the Bygone. Frontier Clash. Now we got another attempt today, but it is Thanksgiving, so I understand if you're not able to do this. But remember, if you are capped, you want to try to knock this out before Saturday. Or otherwise, just wait till Saturday and maybe knock them all out. Void Rift. If this is a first time boss for you, you want to go ahead and knock that out. Wormhole. You got 4 days to do this, and if you have Lin, it shouldn't be that bad. And Raids. If you're able to make it to level 80, you can finally do this battle test area heroic mode. So hopefully that's not going to be too hard and we're able to go ahead and collect our rewards. Then we have Break from Destiny. So again, I think it's going to probably just be more fun playing with the team, go through there. You know, you probably want to just play a few matches so that way you can get ranked and get some free dark crystals at the end. Apex League. If you're trying to reach Grand Marshal, you might want to put a couple hours in each day. Next, we got our daily buys. So you want to go to shop, hot, and then buy your 2 vitality solutions. Now this is only if you can afford it. Again, I want to point out, don't forget to buy your advancement modules and your booster modules for the week if you can afford it. And then we already know about the appointed research, and this is basically talking to my whales. Which brings us to the commissary, starting with the Crystal Dust store. So again, you want to buy your advancement modules, your booster modules, and your Vera special gift for the week. When it comes to your potent omnium crystal, I feel that you can pass unless you are at that 8.1 suppressor. Then you might want to kind of consider if you should pick this up. But what else you can do with your golden crystal dust is buy a good pair of boots. If you have a good pair of boots, then you can buy hands, and if you have a good pair of hands, then you can buy whatever else you want. FaceTime store. Now again, you want to try to buy your booster module 2, your advancement module 2, and your data repeaters for the week. Then once you have that vault, you can decide what you want to do with your other fragments. Crew store. Now when it comes to your points, the only thing you should be spending them on are relic shards, and the relics that I recommend are space-time rift, unless you have a level 3, are omnium shield. Support store. You want to make sure you buy your 3 joint supply chips, and if you can, try to get the proof of purchase and go nucleus using return support points, and if you need help on how to do that, I got a guide on my channel. Point store. Now the only thing I recommend that you spend your points on are spare special gifts, so that way you don't have to do training, black market, or see this island again. But if you need to level up your matrices or weapons, you could always get matrix data pack or weapon batteries. But besides that, I just recommend that you focus on trying to reach level 80, so that way you can get those new JOs, do the Bygone, and also do that new battle test area. But here are a few ways to get experience if you're like me and you used up most of your story. So you can do FC normal. You can also just find an area and kill mobs. If you decide to do that, I recommend the Confounding Abyss, because you can find a specific area, find some monsters that respawn and kill them. That way you can get materials for appointed research and also knock out Starwave Night. And if you have omnium beacons, you can lay those all down and you can just make more and use those to get experience, especially if you're a little pressed for time due to Thanksgiving. And lastly, I wanted to mention that I am partnered with Kuwasa over at Mawasa Gaming, and we have Twitch drop. So while you're hanging out with the family, make sure you tune into his streams, so that way you can get an avatar frame and 150 dark crystals. And here's what you need to do so that way you can get those. But other than that, you guys have a happy Thanksgiving, and I will talk with you guys later.